Please click on the subscribe button so you get notified when the latest content drops. Now, let's kick it.
We were a field goal. We were an extra point. We were an extra point away and a defensive stop from winning that game. We were a defensive. I will get into that here in a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. But it's okay. Future's right. The future's right. Also, also my superstitions also say the football gods were not with us. Dre Greenlaw getting injured running onto the field and injuring his Achilles, maybe tearing it. Come on. If that one didn't seem funky, and I'm not saying like he didn't like it was a scripted or anything, but if you guys believe in superstition, if you guys believe in football gods, or if you guys believe in God in general, um, that came from above. And yes, stuff like that doesn't happen. To be completely honest with you, considering the turf conditions that the Niners reported on saying that it wasn't adequate, I wouldn't be surprised if that had something to do with Dre Greenlaw being injured and causing him to injure his Achilles running onto the field. Something might have happened during the week. We don't know. It wasn't reported. And the moment he went out, that defense opened up for Travis Kelce. God damn, they cooked us. But hats off to Brock Purdy, because Brock Purdy in the biggest of moments showed that the moment wasn't too big for him, but the moment was definitely too big for Jake Moody. And from preseason, I was saying Jake Moody was going to cost us a game. He might cost us the Super Bowl. And not saying that he was the sole reason why we lost that Super Bowl, but he did miss the extra point that wouldn't put us up by 4. And if the defense, the defense held them to a field goal. I'm not saying they would have scored a touchdown, but if they score a touchdown, who's to say Brock can't drive us back down? Also, I understand the perspective that we shouldn't. I'm getting ahead of myself. Ahead of myself. So actually, let's just dive right into the Super Bowl, because we're going to just talk about the Super Bowl. We're going to talk about 49ers future and the Golden State Warriors. So, excuse me. I like Coke. It's my soda choice. Don't drink it if you. Fuck it. I just drink it. It's good. I like it. Anyway, so this this episode's going to be therapeutic, and we're just going to get into it. So the Chiefs, the fucking Chiefs. This kind of sucks for me, because if the Chiefs played any other fucking team other than the Niners, and I regret picking the Ravens over the Chiefs. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking about. I had supported the Chiefs when they acquired Alex Smith, and I became a fan of theirs when even after Alex Smith left, and I was rooting for Washington when they acquired Alex Smith. That's how much of an Alex Smith fan I was. I was rooting for Alex Smith's success, because I thought he was a great quarterback, and I thought with Jim Harbaugh and even with Andy Reid, he proved to be a decent a decent to good quarterback. Um, Injuries really plagued his career, and that was the downfall for Alex Smith. But I still supported the Chiefs even after they moved off Smith for Mahomes, and clearly Mahomes was next in line to Tom Brady, as we could see. But with that being said, I'm never going to pick the Chiefs over my fucking Niners. Bang, bang, Niner gang for fucking life. Bang, bang. Patrick Mahomes, clutch as ever. Um, Frankly, I thought the decision for Kyle to receive the ball in OT wasn't a bad decision. Like I understand actually why people are crying out, "Oh my God, you should have put it in Brock's hands at the end of the game." That's actually a compliment to Brock Purdy, considering that if you put it in Mahomes' hands, who's to say Mahomes doesn't drive up down the field, score a touchdown? Then we put it on Purdy's hands, and who knows what the outcome might have been. I'm not saying it would have been a touchdown. I believe in Purdy. I believe Purdy would have gotten it done. But at the end of the day, I think that should speak a lot to the character of Brock Purdy, and the fact that he should have won over the critics by that point. Because to say that he should have had the ball at the end of the game to try to win it is a huge nod to Brock Purdy and that offense, or at least Brock Purdy. Um, in my opinion, in my opinion, in my personal opinion. We weren't saying that about him before. We were saying he can't be the reason to lose it, or at least certain people were. I was never saying that. I believed in Brock Purdy from day one. I'm a real day one fucking supporter. I've been saying Brock Purdy is fucking special, and I am sticking by that because he's only 25 games into his, or 26, I think, at this point, into 26 or 27. Either way, he's 26 or 27 games into his career at this point as a starter, and I believe he will be getting better. He doesn't even have two full seasons as an NFL starter yet. We're not even seeing prime Brock Purdy. We are seeing Purdy year 1.5 essentially, and he's coming off an arm injury. So give Purdy this offseason, let him heal up, let him rest. He goes into the next year knowing the system better. He goes into the year with his arm healthier than it was going into this year. And we're going to be able to see Brock Purdy take the next step in his development, ladies and gentlemen. This isn't the end for Brock Purdy. I also believe the football gods did not want us to win this game without Hoof. Because Hoof, and I believe Jair Brown, who got the interception on Mahomes, are going to be integral parts of that defense next year. Jair Brown, the moment wasn't too big for Jair Brown. Now, the moment might have been too big for Oren Burks once Dre Greenlaw went out. And I can't blame Oren Burks for everything because he wasn't expected to play this game, or at least he wasn't expecting to play in that capacity. And Travis Kelce is a different beast, ladies and gentlemen. That's not arguable at all. So, with that being said, the Chiefs dynasty can't they're a dynasty by our hand too, which is the fucking part that hurts the most. If it wasn't for us, oh god damn. And the worst part about it, the first one, it was on a Jimmy G overthrow. There were a couple of overthrows from Brock in the end zone, but it was actually under duress. The Jimmy G throw, it was at least when he wasn't really pressured and he had Emmanuel Sanders open in the end zone. Brock, the offensive line collapsed. Dude was getting rushed, and that's why the ball was tipped when he threw it, and it didn't come out right, and he overthrew a couple of them. He rather have overthrown it than thrown it short and intercepted. That you got to give Brock that credit because that's what he was going through his mind. He didn't want to be the reason to lose it, and he put us in positions to win it. Essentially, if Jake Moody hits that field goal when after the fact that Mahomes and the Chiefs had just drove in and scored a touchdown, we had responded with a touchdown. But what happens? Jake Moody misses a field goal. And what did I say in the past? And you'll see the clip here in a bit.
I said, can I rely on Jake Moody to kick a field goal? Boy, credit to where it's due. After that, maybe you know what? Maybe it's big game jitters that he gets at the beginning of the game, and then he eases in, and it's like, oh, you know what? It's just a kick. I got this. But yo, Jake, get it, boy. You need to get it together, dog. Because I need you. We're gonna need you in the Super Bowl, Jake. We're gonna need you in the Super Bowl. This is a pick'em game. This is gonna come down to an extra point, a field goal, and this is gonna come down to you, Jake Moody.
He costed us a game because of his field goal kicking woes. Because when the pressure got to him, it was too much. And I'm not saying he can't get better, but it was something that we should have noticed and been alert to the entirety of the season, even heading into the season, when we saw him missing preseason kicks. Okay, preseason kicks. I'm not saying Jake Moody will not get better. I'm not saying he cost us the game. He is part of the reason why we lost that game. Because if Jake Moody hits that field goal, we're up by 4, not 3. And if Jake Moody hits that field goal against Cleveland, we win that game. And we overcame the missed field goals Jake Moody had in the divisional and the NFC Championship game. But against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and Travis Kelce, and Chris Jones and Spags. That's a legendary team. And we're already down Hufanga, and we lose Dre Greenlaw in the most inopportune time. Oh, and let's also not act like Debo and Ayuk both showed up to play. Like they literally were shut down by the Chiefs cornerbacks. And same with Kittle. Everybody was on lockdown, but Brock still managed to find them in crucial times. We had Juwan Jennings, we had CMC show up, Chris Conley, Ray McLeod. Everybody who I criticized earlier this season showed up in the biggest moment in the game. They showed up. They showed up. And the one year, in the one fucking year, we don't have an elite defensive play caller like D'Amico or Robert. We go to Steve Wilkes, who in his respect, he is a great defensive minded defensive coordinator for DBs or whatever. In his respect, what he did with Carolina last year or a couple years ago was significant. He's a very respectable person in the league, but we knew that his pairing with our defense and the style of play that we had wasn't wasn't meshing very well, and we knew that there were issues. And because the one time we needed our defense to get the stop after the offense had handled it, they couldn't. And it's ironic because when you look back at our history, when the defense needed to get the stop to give the ball to the offense, and we needed to rely on Jimmy G to get it done, they they did it, and Jimmy couldn't get it done. This time, Brock did it. He got it done. Our special teams and our defense let us down. And also, Kyle, I know Brock is, in my opinion, I know Brock is special. But when Mahomes threw that interception coming into the second half, I knew you were going to try to test. I knew you were going to try to test the Kansas City secondary, and you were going to try to pass the ball. The reason why I knew you were going to do that was because you thought you guys had done enough in the first half to try to see if the passing game would open up. But the issue with that is, if I knew that, do you not think Spags might have known that? If me, who doesn't play football, who doesn't know NFL football the way that you know it. And I'm not saying you're a bad defensive play call or a bad offensive play caller. You're a great head coach, Kyle. I love you. I love the entire 49ers franchise. But when we get the ball back, well, we should have just given the ball to CMC. Why did we go two series where we tried to pass the ball? We went back to back series three, and now because we attempted to go, I think, six passing attempts. Why are we not handing the ball off to CMC on first or second down? Like, pound the rock. We were on their side of we were on their half of the field. And I get it. We want to test them. We want to keep them true. We want to keep them honest. But I think when Mahomes threw that interception and we decided to go three pass attempts, we went 3-and-out with three pass attempts. That was a missed opportunity for our offense to capitalize and gain some momentum going into the second half. And then what happened? The botch field goal or the botch punt, muff punt. They score a touchdown. And credit to Brock and the offense, CMC, the entire offense, because when they scored that touchdown, what did we do? We marched right up the field and we scored a touchdown. We took the lead back. They had the lead, we took it right back. The game was 16-13. And all we needed was a field goal to make it a 4-point game, and then Mahomes would have had to score a touchdown rather than settle for a field goal with Harrison Buckner, who is also a legendary kicker. Come on. And we go into it with the rookie kicker, Jake Moody, who clearly throughout the entirety of the playoffs, even the regular season and in the preseason, because I've been seeing him struggle through the preseason, costed us an opportunity to have a 4-point lead and force Mahomes to score a touchdown and beating us like that. And even if he scored a touchdown, who's to say Brock doesn't get the ball back with time on the clock and score a touchdown for us? make it a 3 point or put us in field goal range. Now, now. They want to talk about Kyle should have gotten the ball or should have deferred, and we should have gotten the ball after, like Brock should have had the ball. That's why I say credit to Brock Purdy, because people weren't saying that about Brock Purdy earlier. They doubted his ability, and frankly, he was great, or he wasn't great. I can't say he was great. I cannot say he was great, but it's clear. Actually, I can't say he was great. He was great in the circumstance that he did not fold under the pressure at all. When I say he didn't fold under the pressure, I mean he came into the game. The game wasn't too big for him. This was the best playoff game he has played this entire year. Best playoff game he's played this entire year, from top to bottom. When we needed to get a score, when we needed to get a touchdown, he got us a field goal. Or when we needed to get a score, when we needed a lead, he got us a lead. Our defense couldn't get the stop at the end. Okay. But our offensive line, and I've been saying this all year. Our offensive line has been an issue all year because all we have is Trent Williams. And when Trent Williams isn't there, it is the worst, if not bottom 10, or not bottom 10, bottom five offense. It's one of the bottom five offensive lines in the league without Trent Williams there. And we can't rely on an aging Trent Williams next year. And we can't rely on an aging CMC next year. I love those guys. Those guys are elite at what they do, but they're aging. And we're going to get into the 49ers future here in a second, ladies and gentlemen. But it's those things right there that, like, really, really, really cost, like, in my opinion, costed us the game. Um, and it's okay. It's okay. Should the 49ers move off of Jake Moody? I don't know. I don't know. Why? Um, because I hate to say it, like I really did. I celebrated when I celebrate. Don't get me wrong. I celebrated when he kicked the field goals and he made it. Like I went crazy. I called him Money Moody. I called him Money Moody. I was going crazy when he made the field goals. But if he has these same issues in the preseason, should he even be on the roster? If he caught, like, if he clearly chokes in the chokes in the regular season, and we can't rely on him in the playoff. I can't. I think we need to move off Moses Moody. We should have kept Zane Gonzalez. We should have called in Robbie Gold after the Packers game. Like we couldn't overcome his kicking woes 3 times in a row. And I don't care what anybody says. Like it's 3 weeks, 3 consecutive weeks. He has missed a field goal or an extra point. 3 consecutive playoff games when it matters the most. Okay, that's what irritates me the most. And then our defense, the first time that we really needed them to get a stop, they just didn't. And I'll be real with you, I I, I saw, I don't know, I feel bad for Bosa because he's kicking himself because he knew he I know he sold out on the run when Mahomes got that first down, but he deep down inside knew Mahomes was going to keep the ball and run it outside the edge. That's why he stuttered a little bit and tried to catch up to Mahomes when he got the first down on 4th and inches because he knew he had been Mahomes at the I knew everybody like I don't know if everybody at home knew, but I saw it. I knew. I knew Mahomes was gonna keep the ball and rush for a first down because he had done it to us and he had done it to us in this game already, and he had seen Nick Bosa continuously sell out for the run. And I'll be real with you, our defense was stopping Pacheco flat in his fucking tracks without Bosa having to sell out. And if Bosa doesn't sell out and he stays with Mahomes, Bosa gets that tackle and we win the Super Bowl. But it didn't happen. It didn't happen. It's okay. It's okay. I can't put it on Nick. You know why I can't put it on Nick? Because we went into this fucking season with drama with Nick Bosa. And Nick Bosa wasn't the Nick Bosa that I know that I know and that I love this year. Nick Bosa, because of the contract issues that we had last year. And actually, let's transition into the 49ers future, guys. Because this episode's a therapeutic episode for myself. And I'm just resting my grievances um on yeah, I'm just resting my grievances. I need to get this out because I cried and I'm actually starting to feel a little bit better. And I'm not going to bag on Nick Bosa because I love Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa is Big Bear Bosa, but the contract issues that we had with him this offseason, knowing that we were going to pay him regardless, were fucking ridiculous. And that him missing OTAs cost us to have a Nick Bosa that I know would have gotten that stop. I know he would have gotten that stop. He knows he wouldn't got that stop. We all know he would have got that stop. But the reason why he didn't get that stop, part of the reason I think, is because he wasn't at OTAs. He didn't have a full training camp. It wasn't guys. We like there was a little bit of issues with Nick Bosa this year because of the whole contract dispute. And I'm not saying that cost him. I'm not saying that cost us the game or that had anything to do with the game, but I know that had something to do with the attention to detail and that had something to do with the overall chemistry of this defense this year, not having Nick Bosa there. Ladies and gentlemen, I will be taking a brief break. We will be right back. I appreciate you guys for watching N1 from the End Zone. Stay tuned for part two of this episode.